All right, so hello everyone. My name's AJ. I'm helping be a facilitator for this process. Thank you so much for attending NIU Virtual College Exploration for all Indiana students. If you have a question throughout the presentation, there's the Q&A button you can use. Just a forewarning so you know all cameras and microphones are turned off. You can sign up for more sessions on our website, and this recording will also be available on our website. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we will turn it on over. So, all right, should be good.
And I was muted. Hi, everybody. I'm Adriana Carr. I am a freshman admission counselor at Northern Illinois University. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really fast. And I'm also going to allow our Northern ambassador to introduce herself.
Hi, thank you. My name is Emily Staples. I am a senior at NIU, double majoring in business administration and marketing, along with a sales certificate. And I'm actually from Illinois. I'm from a suburb of Chicago, Aurora.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do like about 25 to 30 minute presentation, a little bit about NIU as an overview. If you want to learn a little bit more in depthly about NIU, we are having an open house over in November, but we're just going to give you a little taste of it here today. So let's start with a little bit more about me. I am an alumni from Northern Illinois University. And I'm from Chicago, so coming out to DeKalb was a bit of a culture shock. There is a lot of families with small children. There are a lot of elderly people, and there is lots and lots of corn out in DeKalb. But we have over 300 student organizations and over 100 areas of interest. So NIU itself, I would say, is kind of like the city located in a suburb. So once I got involved, I kind of felt a lot more at home. I went kayaking for the first time in DeKalb. There's a lot of opportunities to get in touch with nature, especially like around this time, you can go apple picking. I mean, October is the best time for it. And yeah, NIU really got me out of my comfort zone. And I came back for more. I'm a master's student and I work full time at NIU, and I've been in this role for about a year and working at NIU a total of 4 years now. So I'm probably the most enthusiastic person you can talk to about NIU. So first and foremost, we're going to talk a little bit more about NIU's history, mission, and values. So NIU started off as a really small teaching college in 1895. So we were teaching teachers for over 100 years, and we have grown ever since into this world-class, research-focused public institution that has influences and connections essentially all across the country and all across the world, especially in the Chicagoland area. And a lot of our values include creativity and curiosity, equity and inclusion, ethics and integrity, as well as service and stewardship. And the mission of Northern Illinois University is to empower students through educational excellence as we and pursue experiential learning, knowledge, and share our research and artistry as we engage in communities for the benefit of the region, state, nation, and world. So up next, I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about some fast facts about NIU. This is our president, Dr. Lisa Freeman. She was inaugurated in 2018, and I'm very happy to be led by her. There are many initiatives that highly fall in line with our values in regards to like our test blind policy and many different other policies that lead to greater access and more scholarships for students. So I'm highly, highly proud to be led by her. She's also a very nice person. I've met her multiple times, and she served the university for multiple years as the provost and the VP of graduate studies. Our student to faculty ratio is 16:1. And our average class size is about 24, which is about the same as like a high school class size. Due to the circumstances of the pandemic, lots of things have changed, but we have a plan in place called the Protect the Pack policy. So now more than ever, students are able to take classes online, but classes are going to be hosted online, classes are going to be hosted in person, and classes are hosted in kind of like a blended experience where they're like half online and partially in person. So there are students currently on campus walking around, and there are students that are Huskies, but they have completely online classes and they're at home. So it just depends on what we have availability for, what we have capacity for, and what that individual feels safest doing. So there's a little something for everybody. We have over 200,000 alumni, and they give back to the university, especially through scholarships. Over 15 million was awarded in scholarships just last year. You can study abroad in about 75 different countries, and you can study abroad for like a year, for a semester, or you can study abroad for a week during spring break, a week during the summer, or a week during winter break. I studied abroad for a week in Mexico, and it was the most fun that I've ever had in my life. So if you really want to build up that resume and become a little bit more globally minded or have different experiences from different cultures, there's definitely opportunities to do so. And they're not as expensive as you might think. We are a D1 school. We are D1 in 16 different men's and women's sports. We're also a part of the MAC conference. So one thing I really like about our sports is instead of paying that $15 to $30 just to go to a game, it's actually free for any NIU student to go to any game, and all they have to do is show their ID. Every student's gonna get access to a system called Huskies Get Hired that rotates about 3,000 jobs on it per year. So if you're a current student interested in work study, there's going to be a little something for you on that website. Maybe you're interested in a job like in the community, or you're interested in a job as an internship, maybe over the summer. There's going to be jobs posted on there. And maybe you're an alumni, you want a full-time job. The first job I received straight out of college, I got from Huskies Get Hired. So if you're interested in working on campus, there's a lot of different opportunities for you, and over 3,000 jobs rotate on that website every single year. So we learned about the history, mission, and values. So let's move a little forward to learn a little bit more about how NIU is going to help you grow personally and academically. So at this point in the presentation, I always ask students to kind of let us know what they're interested in. There are over 100 areas of emphasis that students can explore at NIU. And if I went through all of them, I would run out of time. So what I'm gonna do is kind of talk about the points of pride for all 6 of our academic colleges and talk a little bit more about my major. Towards the end, I'm also going to give Emily the opportunity to talk about her major as well. So let's start with the College of Business. The College of Business has well-renowned programs, including like marketing, business management, accounting. Accounting was ranked one of the top 5 accounting majors in the nation, especially one of the most frugal accounting programs in the nation. Business management is also incredibly popular. One thing I really love about the College of Business is that many of the courses, they're going to be like really well-rounded. So you're going to learn a little marketing, you're going to learn a little management, you're going to learn a little operating systems starting out. And that makes you a lot more marketable once you go into your field before you get into your core courses. In the College of Health and Human Sciences, most popular major is going to be our nursing major. Nursing majors are arguably like one of the best majors on this campus. Students that take the NCLEX, which is the nursing exam you have to take in order to get your license after you graduate, the average pass rate for that test is about a 67%. The average pass rate for the students in our nursing program is actually a 98%. And I believe our graduating class just had a 100% pass rate. So we graduated an entire class of nurses. In the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, this was my college, and it's also the largest college on campus. So that's gonna house our social sciences, our liberal arts, computer science, communication, philosophy, psychology, and things of that nature. My major was organizational corporate communication, And that was not even a major that I ever heard of going into college. So if you are undecided or you kind of don't know what you want to do, sometimes your major will find you. And what I really like about my major is it's really well-rounded. It's for any individual interested in public relations, customer service, marketing, or like social media management. And it's more on the communication side of business. And if you want to be more on like the number side of business, like there's opportunities for that cross-learning and transferable skills, which I was very happy and proud to get at NIU. Once again, in the College of Education, we've been teaching teachers for over 100 years. It's now easier now more than ever to get into the College of Education. If you're interested in teaching like at a secondary level, one thing we uniquely do is have you major in that field so that you become an expert in that field. So if you want to be a history high school teacher, you'll major in history and become an expert in history. Instead of taking like a huge portion of like education classes, you'll just work with our licensure office to make sure that you're an expert in that field and you can get that licensure. I love talking about the College of Engineering because the students in engineering are involved. There are over 40 labs on our campus and they're open as early as freshmen, and they're not just exclusive to engineering majors. So there's theater majors that use the engineering labs to do 3D printing for like their costumes. And the professors in our College of Engineering are all tenured, all faculty members. Many of them have patents. Many of them have their PhDs, have done research, and they really are dedicated to helping any student that's interested in engineering in any aspect. Our robotics team won 2 national championships, and I know students that have internships with Sony and Samsung last year. Also, one of our professors patented a device that can interpret the sounds of babies crying. And last but not least, in our College of Visual and Performing Arts, that's gonna house our dance majors, our art majors, and our music performing majors. And in my interviews with our faculty members over in our fine arts colleges, they say students go where they want to go. If a student wants to go directly into a graduate program, they want to begin teaching, or they want to perform, after they really hone in on that craft and gain that Bachelor of Fine Art, they go where they want to go. And a lot of the faculty members provide letters of recommendation for many of these students, especially if they want to go into graduate school. For anybody here that is undeclared, it's okay. Being undeclared is a very popular major for freshmen. So what we'll do in that case is get you on an exploratory track. We're going to get you in classes based off of your strengths and based off of your interests. And then once you declare your major, you can take all your upper division classes and you're still able to graduate on time. We highly recommend students to get involved in our university honors program. It's now easier, now more than ever, to get into the honors program as a freshman or as a current student. So if you have a 3.0 GPA or higher, you can be admitted into our honors program with the application. Now, some of the benefits, not just including the scholarships, include priority registration for classes. So you're the first person to get registered for classes. Sometimes you'll have smaller classes because you're in those like capstone classes or those honors exclusive classes. You're gonna have one-on-one interactions with faculty members so you can engage in like undergraduate research and possibly receive funding from the university to do that research. Of course, you're gonna get your transcript notation, and you'll also receive like letters of recommendation as your accomplishments for either going into different graduate programs or for select employment programs. And you'll also receive guaranteed admission into a few graduate programs at NIU. Now, up next, we got student organizations. Once again, there are over 300 student organizations on this campus, so there is a little something for everybody. And if there's a student organization that you can't find, it's actually very easy to start your own student organization. all you need is a couple friends and like a staff or faculty member that'll be your advisor. So we have a lot of different types of like Greek organizations on this campus, some that you might have heard of and some that you might not have, but there's different types of Greek organizations. There's the fun ones that you might have seen in mainstream media, but there's also service fraternities and sororities, academic fraternities and sororities. And I joined a business co-ed fraternity for sales and marketing. And that sounds like the most boring Greek organization you could possibly join on this campus, but trust me when I tell you it's not. This business fraternity, I noticed that all of the members in this organization had jobs waiting for them before they graduated. So it was just a level of professionalism that I wanted to personally develop. If you want to hone in on like your academics, if you want to hone in on like professional or career focus, there's a lot of opportunities for you on campus. But if you're just interested in brotherly love and sisterly affection, we absolutely have that on campus as well. Like a few other things I joined, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, capoeira, the archery club, swimming club, you know, I said archery. I think, yep, I said Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and the anime club. Those are a few things that I also did on campus. And there's hundreds more. So essentially everything under the sun, we have it for students. And if you guys have any follow-up questions on that, I'll be happy to answer them as well. Up next, we have our cultural resource centers. So about half of our student population consists of first-generation college students. The other half consists of transfer students. Women make up of about half of our student population, and about 48% of our student population consists of people of color. And there are a lot of different cultural resource centers that we have on campus in order to assist these very specific student populations. And they're not just offices, they're actual buildings. And in these buildings, you can receive majors, you can receive minors, and you can receive professional certifications. I received ally training from the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center. They're also going to be doing trans ally training soon. And for example, if I wanted to have a career where I helped individuals with disabilities, although I'm not a person that has a disability, I could always go to the Disability Resource Center, see what opportunities there have, possibly like for internships or to get involved or to learn more about this student population so that I can either be a better ally or be a better employee for these growing populations that are happening in our community and in our world. So they're open for everybody, for anyone who wants to learn. And sometimes it's just a cultural exchange. So if you just want to come, have fun, have a celebration with somebody, there's opportunities for that as well. Okay, let's talk about living on campus. We have 6 different residence halls. 2 are specific to upperclassmen. That's going to be Gilbert Hall and our Northern View community, which is more apartment style housing for non-traditional students or upperclassmen. But Stevenson, Grant Towers, Neptune Towers, and New Residence Hall is going to be open for anybody that is freshman, senior, super senior, or coming back to school, transfer student, essentially anyone. New Hall, believe it or not, is the newest hall, and it is my favorite. New Hall has a wood burning pizza oven, and I'm just going to tell you right now, the freshman 15 is real, but I also appreciate that New Hall has a gym facility right downstairs, so there's a little bit of something for everybody. But if you're really interested in that wood burning pizza oven, New Hall is going to be the best one, and you get your own bathroom. A few other opportunities that many students aren't aware of in our residence halls are our living learning communities. So living learning communities are opportunities to engage with students that are either in the same major as you or in the same like special interest group as you. So you essentially be on a floor with all other fine arts majors or all business majors or all nurses or anyone in the like health professions house. And because you're all essentially like going to the same classes together, and you're, you know, going to the same classes, taking the same professors, doing the same homework, it's really easy for you to like learn more and grow more in like our community. And a few other things you can do is esports, the foreign language residency program, our LGBT community, our ROTC community, as well as our STEM house. I stayed in the foreign language residency program, and I spoke French every single day, and it really did help me on my classes. So I highly encourage you, if you are a little bit shy about coming to the university, to engage in some communities like this. And of course, some other dining options include like Herbert's and Gerbert's, Qdoba, as well as Starbucks and the Three Sons Cafe. If you're not into dorm food, there are a lot of opportunities for some really tasty things at NIU that I absolutely love. Okay, here we go. All right, so we went over a lot of things, the mission, we went over the values, and we went over like how NIU can help you personally and academically. So for these last 10 minutes, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the admissions process before we get into questions. Okay, so starting for fall 2021, NIU is completely test blind. We are the first institution that is still regionally and nationally accredited in the state of Illinois in order to be test blind. So we're not considering ACT scores, SAT scores, or exam scores of any kind. What we're gonna do is admit students that have 3.0 GPAs or higher on a 4.0 scale. So if you have a 3.0 GPA or higher and you apply to the university by our deadline, you'll receive guaranteed admission into the university. But let's say you're still an awesome student, but you have a 2.99. Now you can still be admitted to the university, but what we're gonna do is put you in a holistic review. So students that don't have a 3.0 GPA or higher are going to have to submit like a college essay or a personal statement. And in that statement, we want you to just tell us about you, tell us about your accomplishments, and students that advocate for themselves can still be admitted. So let's talk about tuition for a little bit. So our total tuition on average is about $23,000 and some change. And for international students, about $32,000 and some change. So to break that down, what that looks like, if you're a student like me that was the right amount of smart to get into NIU, but the right amount of poor to where you had a family threshold that was under like 75,000, and you received like a lot of financial aid can potentially cover your entire cost of tuition at NIU. But one thing you have to consider is that room and board costs. Room and board is going to range anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000, depending on which residence hall you choose. And this $10,000 rate is for just like a classic Husky meal plan, a double room, such as like Grant or Stevenson or our Gilbert Hall. And that is really where your scholarships are going to come into place. And there's opportunities such as our Husky Pledge program in order to help with those scholarships. And let's talk a little bit about our merit-based scholarships for students coming right up. So if you have a 3.0 GPA or higher, you're also going to receive guaranteed consideration for our merit scholarships. And you do not have to apply for these. So if you have like a 3.5 GPA and you apply, you're admitted to NIU, that's a guaranteed $3,000 a year for 4 years. And they typically range up to about $7,000. Our priority application deadline, and for priority consideration for our merit scholarships, we encourage you to apply to the university by December 1st. And our presidential scholarship deadline is also December 1st. Our presidential scholarship is for students that I believe have a 3.8 GPA or higher. And with that 3.8, they can be eligible to receive a complete tuition waiver, as well as complete waiver for their room and board, as well as a stipend for their books and fees. So that is our full ride scholarship. So remember December 1st, apply to the university before December 1st. And currently our application is online, it's ready. You can go to our website and apply to NIU, or you can use the Common App to apply to NIU. And our application is absolutely free. So this was a brief overview. If you wanted to learn a little more about NIU, I highly encourage you to visit our virtual open house. Multiple of our colleges are going to be there, so you can talk to advisors from like the business careers house. You can talk to advisors from our nursing program, or you can just like talk to a general academic advisor just to learn a little bit more about NIU. And there's also a student panel. And I also encourage you guys to keep in touch with us. Once you're admitted, you'll receive access to our Husky Admitted Facebook group, as well as like we have a Twitter, as well as an Instagram, and you can text Virtual Victor at any time. We do have about 5 more minutes before we hit that 30-minute mark, because I wanted to allow a quick opportunity for Emily to speak before we open the floor up for questions. And so I just wanted to allow her the opportunity to tell us a little bit more about like why she chose her major and what she likes about NIU.
Thank you, Adriana. So actually, when I first started out at NIU, I actually transferred here as a sophomore. I went to another 4-year university and then came here. Best decision I ever made. It was closer to home, closer to my twin. The College of Business, as Adriana kind of touched on, is like outstanding. And I didn't know all the opportunities until I actually got there. And for anybody you'll ask, the first day of class, you're going to have a professor that I think any business student will know, and his name's Chuck Downing. And he is going to stand there every single day and say, you made the best decision of your life. You're at one of the best colleges of businesses in the country. And he will keep reiterating that to you throughout the entire semester. And by the end of your 4 years, you're going to feel it. And I think one of the really unique things about our business, our college business, is that every single major in our college of business has like a board of trustees that oversees that major. And those are people that are actually in those companies who come to our professor every single semester and tells our professors, this is what we want to hire. So that they can keep changing the curriculum to be prevalent, so that when we graduate into careers that we know we're going to be successful in, because those career people told us that these are the traits that we're looking for. So they set you up for success. In terms of picking my major, I originally wanted to be a lawyer, so that's why I settled on business administration. I wanted to be the high-powered business lady walking into courtrooms, just running the town. But I had the opportunity to travel to San Francisco with a professor and 10 other of my peers, and we went to Salesforce, Adobe, some startups out there, some business to consumer sales places, and I just kind of fell in love with sales, and I fell in love with the world of sales. And it just happens that NIU has the second oldest sales program in the country here, with partnerships with big companies like Adobe and Enterprise and Paycom. So our partnerships are kind of unmatched in our College of Business, and honestly all over campus, partially because we are so close to Chicago. So we have those resources right there in our back door or right there in our backyard. So you really can't go wrong. But I just picked sales because I had the personality for it. And I was like, when in doubt, it's a great career to make money. And I'm not ashamed to say I'm driven a little bit by the money. So, but it's going to be a great career and I'm excited for it. And I owe my full-time job all to NIU. I would not have the full-time job I have now. I am a senior sitting in front of you all, first semester at midterms, already with a full-time job. So it's possible, and it was all possible definitely because of NIU.
Thank you so much, Emily. So at this point, we have about 15 more minutes because we're getting cut off promptly at 8:45. So Emily, did you see any questions in the Q&A?
I have not seen any pop up yet.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions, we'll be here for the next 15 minutes. And whenever you're ready, I'll be here for you. So I just checked my dashboard for this event, and it looks like we had 4 students sign up. And as much as I would like to get to know the students that did sign up today, we went over a lot of information. So I might have answered a lot of like preliminary questions, but we do have like 15 more minutes. So I guess I can ask Emily questions, and maybe she can ask me some questions if she thinks of any, for our last 15 minutes. So one thing I know about the College of Business is there's like separate fairs like for different majors. Like there's like a sales and marketing fair. I believe there's like an accounting fair, and one that's exclusive to like operations management, and another one for like business management. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, the sales and marketing talent night was actually just last week during our big career fair. So it was all kind of coupled up on the same day. But yeah, those are great ways for you to see that each department and all of their partnerships within that department. I think even for the accounting one, all of the companies that show up to that are really big name accounting firms. And I think it's just a great opportunity, regardless of if you're a freshman or a senior looking for your full-time job. It's important to go to them every year or every semester, because you start building those relationships with the companies. They get to know you, and you get to become more comfortable with all of those companies. So when it does come time when it's serious, you can go up to that recruiter by name and be like, oh, hi, Paul, like I'm finally ready for a full-time job. I'm ready for you to hire me, and like kind of joke around with them and have that rapport with them already, where it's not nerve-wracking, it's fun, and you kind of just can kind of breeze through it in a way where you have that personal connection. Not to mention, every single day in Barcima Hall, pre-COVID, we had companies come in every single day, and they were in our atrium, and they would literally stop students as they were walking in. Students would try to kind of cower down. They're like, I got to get to class. I can't talk to these people right now. I look awful. But they would really pull them aside and be like, hey, what's your major? Hey, are you looking for an internship or a full-time job? And just to kind of give those students opportunities to, on the days that they wanted to, go up and just talk to a company right there in your atrium. So that's a really unique opportunity as well.
Okay. I definitely remember those days. I remember accidentally going to the accounting fair. I was not an accounting major. They're like, no, we're hiring accountants. But I did find a lot of traction at like the sales and marketing. I believe it was like a sales and marketing exchange, like talent day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is where I found Pi Sigma Epsilon, and yep, they're my fraternity. I love them so much. They taught me so much about business.
And they have so many like networking events just for PSC students, and like those go off without a hitch. I always hear great things about them. And I think they have scholarships too, I know. And then I also know that like when you put that on your transcript and you're like any officer in there, it's a big talking point in interviews. Huge.
It is. It's been a huge talking point. I think it's always a huge talking point if you're trying to get like a higher education job, but it's a huge talking point very early on in my career. And they're essentially the reason why I got my executive assistant position. Like 10 days after I graduated, job, just like that.
Oh yeah. Well, and that was the other thing, like you don't realize that about NIU, and then you get to like talking to the people in the College of Business, and you're like, whoa, why doesn't anyone tell me this? Like when I'm looking for colleges, I would have never gone to that other university for the first year.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. And also it just, our College of Business just underwent renovation. So when you walk in now, we have an impact lab that is completely glassed in, and you can see right in, and it's gorgeous. It's like where the most creative stuff happens in the College of Business. So they want you to be able to see in and look at it all happening.
Oh, nice.
So it's very nice.
I haven't been there since COVID, so I don't know how it looks anymore.
I have one in-person class. It's my sales class. So we're in person 1 day a week. So I get my Barcima fix.
Okay. Back in the day, I didn't even have like a parking pass. So I remember like walking to Barcema, um, walking that 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
But Barcema's open 24/7. So like I would just kind of stay there for the whole rest of the day and get all my work done before I go home. Just make a trip out of it.
And it's the most popular study space for nursing majors.
It is.
As weird as that sounds, it's because it's open 24 hours. Honestly, you'll go in there at like, I have been there at like 11 o'clock at night, closer to midnight. And most of the majors, if you were to take a poll, they're all nursing.
Mm-hmm. All nursing majors. And it's also a really nice place to study.
Yeah, no, it is. Adriana, what's a tip, a piece of advice that you would have told your younger self? Whether that be like looking for college, like the college search, or just being in college?
Don't be afraid to succeed. I did not have, 4.0 GPA. I did not come from like the richest background. I'm a first generation college student, and I had enough to get into NIU as a freshman. I was just super scared, so I played it safe, and I feel like I wasted a lot of time because NIU really is my home. Given that I work here and I'm still going to school here and I'm an alumni here, like NIU really was my home. Like I found my people here. And I had an opportunity to come and I just chose not to. And sometimes you are the person that's holding yourself back. So do what makes sense for you financially. If everything financially makes sense, if it's a good fit, if you're going to be happy at a college and there's a great culture for you, go to that college. It makes the most sense. So in the college search process, especially like if you go to like a tech high school, there's a lot of emphasis on like Ivy League schools, and there's a lot of emphasis on like out-of-state schools. But Ivy League schools and out-of-state schools are going to have an average tuition of $60,000 before room. Mm-hmm. Their parking passes are $2,000.
Yeah.
So, and most of the students that make it there are not first generation, 2-point-something having students, And we're in a world where like the majority of the people that are looking for jobs already have bachelor's degree. So a bachelor's degree is a bachelor's degree. If you have it from NIU, if you have it from Harvard, and you know how to do the job, the same people are getting paid the same rate.
Yeah. Now you're going to look at, do they have these connections? What did they do outside the classroom? And I mean, that's the other thing about like NIU. I'm pretty sure every single major has some requirement of outside of the classroom learning or like training that you have to do in order to graduate.
Mm-hmm. It all depends on the actual experiences that you gain and the knowledge you gain outside of the classroom in regards to student organizations, in regards to just like the people Greek organizations especially, and getting that hands-on experience, like doing undergraduate research, getting involved in like organizations that are doing national competitions. Sometimes it's just getting an internship and like being awesome at your internship, and then they want to give you a full-time job after. And those experiences kind of give you that leg up. And I really pride NIU on having a lot of those experiential opportunities so that nobody is going to graduate and nobody's going to tell them, oh man, you don't have enough experience.
Yeah.
No, you will.
Well, and that kind of goes into like a piece of advice I always tell, especially even on my tours. And I always get a laugh from the parents because I think parents are just like, they've gone through more life, so they get where I'm coming from when I say it. But like, when you go to any college you go to, there is going to be an experience fair or an involvement fair. You will not waste 5 minutes of your life if you go up to a table and you ask some boisterous, outgoing person like me or Adriana, tell me about your organization. Trust me, it'll be 5 minutes, maybe, or they've shortened their elevator pitch to a minute. And if at the end of it, you realize, oh, that's not for me, well, whatever, it was only a minute or 5 minutes. But at the end of it, you realize, wow, this is a really cool organization. You have only spent 5 minutes on something that's now going to change the trajectory of your entire 4-year experience. So I always say, go up, ask them. The only harm you're doing is wasting maybe 5 minutes of your time. And you're a college student. You got some time. Trust me. Especially in your first week.
For sure.
So are there other universities like in the bigger webinar?
Oh yeah, that's other universities. Today, who all is going at 8 p.m.? Yep, Purdue University is also going at 8. Northern Kentucky. No, there was a few earlier today. And I think Michigan State is going on today.
See, that's cool. Like, I'm always intrigued about how they're doing all this, like, in the wake of COVID. I mean, even our open houses and stuff like that. Like, it was definitely confusing at first for us working it. And then I got the hang of it all, and I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Oh, yeah. I was working with Open House just yesterday, working with the College of Business, believe it or not. And they are like on it, like,
Yeah.
know everything, like firsthand. And not a lot of students ask questions, but those questions got answered.
Well, and it's so hard because can you put your, I honestly, it's so far away from me, so I can only imagine how you're feeling, but like, when you went on your college search and they were always like, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? And you were like, no, I have no idea what to ask.
Okay, we're at the 45 point.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you all to all of you who attended and for all of you who are going to watch this virtually. We truly appreciate it. Big thanks for our representatives joining us. If you close your tab, you will have a quick survey, so we'd appreciate you fill that out. It's 4 questions. You can sign up for more sessions on inacac.org/virtual college exploration, and this recording will be available on our website. So thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it, and have a great rest of your night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.